It's time for Super Tuesday, presented by Boost Mobile. Florida's Kayvon Allen, he's trying to keep the Gators going. Had 24 points and a 70-foot buzzer beater in their last game. Now Florida comes to T-Town, where Bama's Colin Sexton is determined to change things. Coach Avery Johnson, he's set to turn this tide before March arrives. Folks, that banner hasn't been freshly stitched with an NCAA ticket in 6 years. A win tonight can help them take a step closer to that. From Coleman Coliseum, it's an SEC battle for postseason positioning. Florida coming off the win over the SEC leaders against the Alabama Crimson Tide. As we say good evening, everybody. Thrilled you're with us for the start of Super Tuesday. Joe Tessitore alongside Sean Farnham. We're going to dig into what this game needs for that postseason positioning. But I want to talk about a great guard matchup, Farnham. Colin Sexton against Chris Chiozza.
Yeah, I think when you think about Sexton, he's got to be aggressive tonight. He's got to get to the free throw line. Plus 9 attempts tonight. That would indicate aggressiveness that's going to help open up things for his teammates. Chiozza, 5 assists away from being the all-time assist leader for the Florida Gators. That's crazy.
And both these teams are focused in on that matchup. For more, here's Laura Rutledge.
Well, Tess, Chris Chiozza said that he feels like he's one of the best point guards in this league, but also said Colin Sexton would be near the top of that list. And tonight, Colin Sexton said you have to keep Chris Chiozza uncomfortable. You have to get in his face, do everything you can to get under his skin, because he's usually so calm. And then for Chiozza, he said he's got to make sure the Tide don't get under his skin, just like they did last time. He said there was a lot of trash talking from Colin Sexton and company. It bothered him. He cannot let that happen tonight.
The last time they met up was an Alabama win at Florida, 60-58. They overcame a 6-point halftime deficit. Scored them 41-17 in the second half. So here we go. In the final week of the regular season in the SEC.
See how disciplined Alabama is. The big word that was used around practice over the last couple of days has been stagnant at the offensive end. Too much standing and watching.
Here's Sexton through the lane, and he draws the foul. Let's look how these teams are planning for success, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Yeah, you take a look at the Florida Gators, and it's not hard to figure out what they've got to do to be successful. They've got to keep their guards out of the paint. First possession, Colin Sexton drives right in the teeth of the defense, gets to the free throw line. And Kayvon Allen, shoot the ball. Shoot the ball early, shoot the ball often for the Florida Gators. Alabama dominated the rim. Force the back line of that defense to step up and utilize your size, and don't settle on offense. You cannot just rely on your three-point shot.
Sexton, Bama's leading scorer at 18.2 per game. Florida's starting 5. You see Bassett in there, the first time this group of 5 starts for Florida this season. Chiozza with the ball screen. Kulichov now trying to split defenders, unable to get it to go off the glass. On the run, Ingram puts it down.
That was great unselfishness by Braxton Key. The turn and flip pass. Key takes one dribble. That ignites the defense to step to him, creates space for Ingram to be wide open on the give back.
A good sign for Alabama when Ingram gets going early on. They really consider him their X factor. Say when he is hot, they are winning. Here's Key on the assist from Sexton. Hudson couldn't get the bounce there. Bama off to a hot start. That has been a concern lately for Coach Johnson. Dante Hall now back to the basket. And here comes Chiozza and the Gators looking to get on the board.
Well, Tess, if you're Alabama, that you couldn't draw this up any better. Defensive transition was a problem in the first meeting. Watch. Dazon Ingram initiates defense, dumps it off. Chiozza steps to the ball. Kayvon Allen late in his rotation, easy finish, and then in transition again. That time, the handoff from Sexton, Key able to finish.
Foul was charged to Dante Hall. Jalen Hudson, who had a sensational play in the final 30 seconds of that win against Auburn, capped a three-point play then. The go-ahead score took steps here. That was a much-needed win Saturday against Auburn. They had lost 3 straight, starting 5 for Alabama tonight. It included Herbert Jones, a 6'7" freshman who really locks down defensively. Sexton underneath, a little too much, as there was some defensive presence. Chiozza now against 3 tied defenders, blocked away, and here come the tie. Sexton, a little sloppy on the finish.
See, he took that shot hoping for the foul versus trying to make the shot test. That's why he didn't get the call, and he wasn't successful in having any chance of making the shot.
0 for 4 shooting are the Gators. Igor will take care of business this time. Igor Kulichov, a well-traveled senior grad transfer for the Gators, averages just under 14 per game. He lost the handle in the lane.
Now all of a sudden Alabama getting sloppy, opening up the door of opportunity for the Gators to gain some momentum here offensively.
Chiozza, 15-footer, front rims it, and the rebound went with Key. Ingram against Allen, trying to leave it for Hall, was just off to the left, but the foul. That'll be charged on Bassett. A reminder tonight on ESPN, we're going to be at the Dean Dome for number 9 North Carolina and their 6-game win streak as they take on Miami at 9 Eastern. That is the continuation Super Tuesday, presented by Boost Mobile.
ACC, very similar to that in the SEC this year, of the level of competitiveness from top to bottom. Miami's a team that's capable of going into Chapel Hill and winning that game, especially if you're North Carolina and you're already focused on Saturday's massive matchup against Duke. This will be a test for the Tar Heels tonight.
Duke North Carolina game will come to you Saturday. Of course, UNC won the first matchup of the storied rivalry this year.
This is the best time of year for college basketball.
Sure is.
You know, I got the headlines. We all saw them. We all know what's going on in the game. But if you're not entertained watching the high level of competitiveness you see on a night-in, night-out basis, you're missing the boat.
Of course, tournament action getting started up. We will be in St. Louis next week for the SEC tournament.
Toasted raviolis all week, partner.
I'm down. Sexton trying to get by Igor. So Alabama off to a good start. Colin Sexton leading the way.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Boost Mobile.
Bama won by 18 the first time these teams met up. They had a 29-1 bench edge, and they really did damage in the paint, Sean, especially Dante Hall, who went for 14 points on 7-7 shooting.
And what that does is when you start breaking down the defense and you're forcing that back line to step up, a lot of that is created because of Colin Sexton, and we've already seen that in this game tonight. Colin Sexton is 0 for 2 from the field, but he continues to earn trips to the free throw line and accumulate fouls on the Gators. 3 fouls already called against Florida, and a lot of them have been Sexton on drives.
Well, it's being said in that Florida huddle, Laura.
Yeah, Tess, Mike White telling his guys, you're too hesitant. He said, I'm seeing you out there really slow and casual. He said, start sprinting and stop jogging. I need you to play harder.
Blocked that time. That's a great effort by Keith Stone.
Working with Laura Rutledge is like, where's Waldo? You never know where she's really at. Like, I'll be like, look to her seat to like try to signal like, hey, I want you to jump into the broadcast, and then she's like,
no, she's over there in the huddle.
Back.
She's checking with a trainer.
She's having a cookie in the back.
Mostly eating cookies in the back.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, Laura.
Or big brownies. Sometimes there's like those good like chocolate brownies that they have in the back of the media lounge. I love those ones.
Who wouldn't? As we will have possession staying in this direction with the Gators.
I didn't eat today, okay? I flew in on a red eye. All right, we were at shoot around. I tried to make myself a peanut butter and jelly at the craft station.
How'd that work out?
It was good. It was average. I'm not a grape jelly fan. I would have liked strawberry instead.
I'll tell you what, we'll make up for it tonight. But for right now, business at hand with Bama and Florida. You know we got our spots in T-Town now, Farnham. Don't you worry about being fed.
You spend enough time down here with Laura during the football season. I think you guys have apartments. Are they good in football?
Pretty good.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
A couple new coordinators for Coach Saban down here.
And they've got a great baseball tradition here at Alabama.
Speaking of Mrs. Rutledge.
Yeah, I mean, there's a player by the name of Josh Rutledge who played here, who has a locker still here because of his significance to this program, and now is a San Francisco Giant. There's nothing that makes me more happy to know that Josh Rutledge is part of Bruce Bochy's squad.
Rutledge, SEC legend.
Yes.
Right there. He's watching, I think, right now.
Okay.
Taking a break from spring training.
Josh, I'm a huge Giants fan. All right, let's go. Get it back this year.
Says the Bay Area native. Sexton. Second chance.
Do you see the mindset of Sexton, though?
Jones, back of the neck there. And the foul off the defensive rebound as Hayes did a good job fighting for it.
Tess, I know there's been a lot of missed layups by Alabama, but what I love about what I'm seeing right now for Avery Johnson's team is they are driving, they are attacking, they are drawing 2 players to the ball every single time, and that's opening up opportunities for guys to get better looks.
See how they've gone cold offensively.
Frigid. Can you believe it's our final Super Tuesday, partner?
Well, you got so much to look forward to next week with the tournament. It's going to be, hey, listen, we're going to talk about it a little later on tonight, but the parity in the SEC this year is causing absolute chaos. And if anybody thinks they can put a finger on how this thing's going to look next week in St. Louis, good luck. There's Igor again. Kulichov with 4. Now, Avery Johnson is kind enough to be wired up for us tonight. Let's listen in.
So he wasn't open? Okay, all right, all right. Hey, way to box out. When you drive the ball, go into your football move. Don't swing it back, all right?
I like how calm Avery is, because then when it is time to crank it up, the message is going to be delivered the right way in Holland.
By the way, the message was delivered the first time to Dazon Ingram when he wasn't
open, yeah.
That's basically him telling him he was wide open. Get him the ball. There's a million different ways to deliver the message. What is most effective for your group and your team?
Now, in many ways, that's how you define a great coach right there. Hudson, good drive that time by Jalen Hudson.
So as stagnant of a start that you could have for the Gators, and yet they're down 1.
Because Bama went so cold offensively.
And this has been the problem for the Crimson Tide.
They're 0 for their last 7. There's Johnson's son, AJ, Avery Johnson Jr. And another miss for the Tide. And a chance to take the lead for the Gators. They'll stay this way. There's Dre Ballard in the game, man who likes to create off the dribble. Freshman from Atlanta. Hudson. And just like that, Florida takes the lead. John Petty. As they will have to reset. Shot clock down to 3. Petty's got to heave it. Hudson again. Why not? Jalen Hudson, red hot.
And Tess, he can do that, and we've seen it in different cases over the course of the season. He is a scorer. He wants to score the basketball, and it may not be the prettiest at times. It may drive you crazy in shot selection, but when he gets it flowing, it's hard to stop.
And Johnson Jr. will head to the line. But we're going to talk about this situation bubbling up in the SEC. Wait till you see all the different directions this could go for the tournament. Stay with us. That's next. Comes into College Station and steals one on the roads.
LeChance an open look for 3. Vanderbilt at home.
Bulldogs come to Gainesville and pick up a tough road win.
Texas A&M with a shocker on the road in the SEC. A huge win for Frank Martin in South Carolina. They got it done tonight.
Parity is the new paradigm in SEC basketball, and because of it, this is how things stand heading to the SEC tournament next week. When you consider the spreads of where teams could be in terms of seedings. You know what? Here it is right here. But look at this. And you look at teams like Mississippi State, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Bama. Could be as high as a 2 or as low as a 10 seed next week. I mean, we got 2 games left, and these are the spreads. Kentucky could be as high as a 3, as low as a 9. Bama, a 3 or a 10. This is outrageous.
Georgia could get all the way up to a 5 or have to play on the opening night. I mean, it is unbelievable what we've seen this season in the SEC.
But that's why every single game matters.
It just means more.
Somebody has said that once or twice. Look at those spreads of where the seeding could fall.
You know, and this has been a process. And credit to Greg Sankey, Commissioner Slive. The entire basketball commitment has changed over the last 3 years in this conference.
Point of emphasis, you put in the resources, you get great coaches, you recruit well, you get the results. By the way, those free throws moments ago ended a nearly 5-minute scoreless stretch for Alabama. They went 4:48 without scoring. Florida had a 10-0 run to take the lead. Petty gives it to Hall. Hall will head to the line. Laura?
Well, you guys are talking about the improvement in basketball in the SEC, and talking to Chris Chiozza today, he said, when I first got to Florida, it was Kentucky, maybe Florida, and then everybody else. He said last year he started to see it turn. He started to see the talent developing at some of these teams, and he said, boom, this year, it doesn't matter if you're technically at the bottom of the league, you are still such quality talent. He said he's been telling all of his friends across the country the SEC is the best league in basketball. He can't wait for the SEC tournament to see what happens.
And we can't either, nor can this guy, a chance to really better his position. Of course, they want to win tonight. Dante Hall at the line, as it's 2 now on Kavarius Hayes. You know, I thought it was interesting what Rick Barnes said. He said there's not a team in this league that won't go to St. Louis with the idea that they can win the tournament. there aren't a lot of leagues that can say that.
No.
Everybody thinks you can go there and get something big accomplished.
Look, and this is no disrespect to what Bill Self has been able to accomplish at Kansas, but there's no team winning 14 straight conference titles in the SEC. If they did, they would shut it down. I mean, everybody has this preconceived notion that Kentucky wins the championship every single year. That's not the reality, and I think the nation has been keyed in on that now.
Now Hudson fouled, shooting an outside shot there. Well, here are the standings in the SEC as it stands right now. It's still obviously significant games to be played this week. Kentucky will be at Florida, in fact, on Saturday. This Alabama team will be at A&M. They've won the first meeting there.
Well, the thing about Laura was just talking about, it doesn't matter where you were at coming into the year. How many people thought Tennessee was going to be the second place team in the conference? Not many. They were preseason predicted to finish 13th.
Hudson shooting the three. Hudson made a splash early on in his Florida career, had that 35-point game in a double overtime win against Gonzaga. Also had a double-double against Duke. And he has that knack for drawing fouls on three-pointers. He's got that little leg kick and earns his way to the stripe. Hudson with 10 of their 16 points. Braxton Key. And he's going to touch the line there, so they'll stay with Alabama as Colin Sexton will check back in. Avery Johnson Jr. will take a seat. Of course, Sexton's been mentioned in the recent reports dealing with the FBI's results of the college basketball investigation. However, the issue that was raised in the recent articles was the same that was investigated by the school here in Tuscaloosa and punished with the one-game suspension earlier this year.
Well, and Tess, outside of the outlier, which is the Sean Miller situation with DeAndre Ayton, all of what we've learned is a lot to do with an agent, a runner, an AAU coach, families, and players individually.
They're looking at the clock here.
And it's impacting recruiting across the country. Think about this. Shaquille O'Neal's son was committed to Arizona. Sure. He opened it up. My sources are telling me he literally just verbal committed to go to UCLA.
Wow. Well, that's a potential power shift right there in the conference.
Right. So now you're in a conference, and because of this impact of what we're seeing with Sean Miller, it opens up a door for UCLA. They walk right in. They get Sharif O'Neal. Tremendous pickup for Steve Alford and the coaching staff at UCLA. You're going to see the same thing in SEC schools if more information comes out that seems to be harming the future of the program.
Well, these young men, they got to monitor everything, know what they're stepping into. You can't go to a place that's going to have scholarship reductions or the inability to play in the postseason.
Especially the elite top talent. Right. They might be only on campus for a year. So they want to go ahead and they want to try to win a national championship. They want to try to play in the NCAA tournament.
Here's Smith as he cleared a little too much space. Did Galen Smith at 6'9", 235 pounds. And we're keeping that Sexton conversation going, Laura.
Well, Colin, I asked him earlier today, Tess, about how he's dealt with some more noise being around the country right now with everything going on. And he said, well, I don't have social media, so I have no idea really what's going on a daily basis. He said, I'm not going to lie. I've seen that my name is out there, but I'm perfectly comfortable with what I'm doing here and focusing on winning a couple more games heading into the SEC tournament.
Do you want to know how competitive Colin Sexton is? He competes with his siblings for GPAs. He's been a very good student.
He had a 4.0 GPA his first semester here at the Capstone. And there was some contact underneath there, as you saw that Herbert Jones was slow to get up. Sexton is fiercely competitive. That was friendly fire as Daniel Giddens, who's 6'11", nearly 250, came in, and you could see him hitting the upper body and head of Herbert Jones. Feet inside, And Jones denied that time. Second chance won't go. How about a third? Still trying to clean it up. And instead, Chiozza comes away with it for the Gators.
Can't miss that many shots right at the line.
Good pass that time by Kulichev as Gak draws the foul.
Well, and what Avery Johnson's saying is if you're going to call that down here, what happened on the previous possession at the other end?
That is 2 on Herbert Jones.
A little dump down as the back line of the defense steps up. Well, very similar as far as the amount of contact that we saw down here, Tess.
Zach Gak. He was born in Africa. He grew up in Australia, came to the U.S. for his high school ball. 6'11". He's got a 7'4" wingspan. He's been dealing with knee issues all season, so some others have moved past him in terms of grabbing minutes. Sexton weaving his way. Ingram. Wouldn't drop. Chases it down, though. And will head to the line. That's 2 on Gak.
The ability and the want to drive and find success in the paint is clear for Alabama. Their efficiency, though, Tess, in doing so has not been high at all tonight.
Five for 9 from the stripe is Alabama tonight.
Just think about this. Alabama has 9 offensive rebounds and only 1 second chance point.
Got to take advantage of those opportunities.
And so you'd ask, okay, what's a good ratio? You should at least get 1 point per offensive rebound. At least.
He's on
0 for their last 16 from the field.
Shooting 11% after they got off to a decent start, and then Florida, as Alabama fell asleep offensively, took the lead. Here's the feed inside, and Bassett, just his second start, unable to finish it off. Slapped away into the hands of Chiozza. Igor up and in. Igor Kulichev. And now Chiozza with a good effort play, but he was on the line.
That's what Chris Chiozza is at his best. He's a leader by example. He is the most explosive player. He has a nose for the basketball. When he's playing well, Florida plays well. You love the aggressiveness here. Look how active he is. Getting his hands on the ball, pushing it in transition, finding his teammate, and then coming right back and trying to get the possession once again by going over the scorer's table.
And a career-high 12 assists in that win against Auburn. Has 2 early on tonight, and he could become Florida's all-time assist leader tonight. He needs 3 more to break the all-time mark in Gainesville. It's 2 now on Bassett.
Well, the points, Hudson, he's been great. He's taken 4 shots to get 10. See the numbers for Alabama? Huh. Yeah.
All right, this is totally unacceptable. Hudson working left on an ISO. Hudson pull up 3. Hudson working left, which we don't want him doing step back 3. So that's basically 8 points right there.
I love that.
I like how Avery Johnson Wired can actually do our voiceover work for the highlights.
I'm going to go home now.
We don't need to be here if Avery's wired.
Avery, just keep going.
Listen, totally unacceptable, he says. Jalen Hudson with 10 points for Florida. Of course, he's their leading scorer with 15. And Alabama has struggled shooting. They started the night 2 for 2 and then 0 for 16.
You know, You look at Alabama, and you see so many positives throughout the season, and there's reason to be really excited. But then they go through these droughts tests where they just can't score. And then when you can't score, it puts more and more pressure of what you're doing at the defensive end.
What more is being said in that huddle, Laura?
Avery Johnson, Tess, talking a lot about how it's taken them too long to get to the pick and rolls. He said, I want you to sprint and then set there. He said, whoever Chiozza is guarding, run the pick and roll.
We will look for that. And right now, he's up against Colin Sexton.
Well, I'll tell you, because Chiozza has struggled in communication on pick and roll plays in the latter stages of this season.
Offensive. Crowd didn't like him as Ingram got into the chest there. That is his first.
That's a late rotation. When you're late rotating and you're trying to play defense, guess what that means? You're out of position.
That was the case against Hudson.
And so watch the ball reversal. As it comes over the top, they counter right back. They're really good on the counter. It forces Dazon Ingram to step up. And on the drive, he takes an angle that is a straight line. You're going to make contact. Hudson's really smart.
Ingram's second. Good first half out of Jalen Hudson, and the offensive issues continue during this stretch for Alabama. And the loss at Kentucky, at Auburn, and then Saturday against Arkansas. Turnover again, as Giddens couldn't control things.
That is an example of executing the way you want, but not being able to get the result that you want. You force the back line defense to step, you drop it down. You're not catching, you're not valuing the possession.
Saw that clock on the bottom of your screen as we're coming up on 12 minutes without a made field goal from the Tide. Shot clock at 4. Chiozza looking for option, short corner. His option the best. Chris Chiozza.
How about the way this game started? It was 7-0 Alabama. 6-0 Alabama. Since that point in time, safe to say, everything and anything that Mike White has wanted for his team has gone his way.
Avery Johnson Jr. replaces John Petty for Alabama.
Smith will check in, and Giddens will take a seat for the Tide. Mike White watched his team take advantage of this inept offensive first half for the Tide.
Already 8 turnovers on the game for Alabama. They're at home. That's far too many.
Allen back over to Chiozza, gets it to the corner. And Igor carries it. Kulichov with 9. Sexton couldn't connect. He was 0 for 5 shooting three-pointers this past Saturday against Arkansas as well. Chiozza right past, but it bounced out.
Wow. You've got to convert this into points for Alabama.
Tap in won't go as well. Another second chance opportunity that Alabama couldn't get.
What you're seeing right now, body language too for Alabama. You're seeing a little bit of stunned frustration. You're not seeing bounce. You're not seeing energy. which is imperative. Basketball is a game of emotion. Right now, the emotion aspect is on the side of the Gators.
Avery's group 0 for their last 18, spanning 13 and a half minutes of this first half. Tapped away. And Johnson Jr. comes up with it. This possession looks like it's going to be 14 minutes without a made field goal. See if they can finally break through. Sexton weaving, and that wouldn't go.
This is unbelievable. I mean, the lid that's on the rim down there, it's getting comical.
Hudson, he's had the hot hand. A little too much off the glass that time with that angle. Key, finally the finger roll. They went 19 field goal attempts without seeing success. That ends a 14-minute, 31-second drought. Stone, 3-ball.
I mean, Tess, the difference, though, in ball movement, spacing, and quality of shot is present in this first half.
Well, let's see what's going on tonight with everything in the sport. For that, we check in with Chris Cotter.
All right, Tess, Alfa Romeo halftime report coming your way in just a little bit. Chris Cotter, Jay Will, and the coach here. We're going to preview Auburn and Arkansas, also Miami and North Carolina later on tonight. What's going on here in this game?
Alabama does everything but put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, Alabama's 3 of 22 from the field, and they're still kind of in the ball game.
Still in the game right now. Florida finally
Straighten it out, Barney, will you please?
And they did. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Alfa Romeo halftime coming up.
Glad you're with us watching the SEC on ESPN. Florida's up by 13. And we remind you that NBA Wednesday doubleheader comes with Steph and KD and the Warriors in D.C. to take on Bradley Beal and the Wizards at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then James Harden, Chris Paul, and the Rockets against CP3's former team, the Clippers, as coverage tips with NBA Countdown Wednesday at 7 on ESPN.
Now, how do you like Warriors or Rockets right now in the series?
Warriors.
How close is the series?
I defer to you on that, but I like them.
I think it goes 6.
Okay.
I think it goes 6, but I agree with you. I think everybody that's buying into the Rockets, I understand why. They're playing great basketball. But the Warriors are at that stage as an organization where no longer is it about winning 73 games during the course of the regular season. It's about winning championships. And they know what they have to do to get it done.
Well, they have the experience of being in that spot and having that standard and expectation. There's a violation there. As you saw, Alex Reese.
Lane violation. Florida's ball on the baseline.
You know, that kind of night for Avery Johnson. Just look on and say something's got to change. This Florida team came in terms of field goal defense 11th in the SEC. And here's a Bama team facing them shooting under 14%.
Good goal by Tavon Allen.
Ingram left alone, back rimmed it. Now fight for the ball, and Reese comes up with it. Sexton on the take, wouldn't drop again, and Gak tracks it down.
Test from a field goal perspective. Have we seen a first half like this all year long?
No, this is sludge, my man.
You can try to analyze and break down, but you're talking about missed layups, missed opportunities on second chance points. Alabama just cannot complete a possession.
You know, Pitt was horrific this weekend in their first half against Virginia. Now, Pitt struggles offensively. Virginia is what they are defensively, but
7 points.
yeah.
They did get 30 in the second half, though, on the bright side.
Well, Allen at the line. He had a nice bounce-back effort this weekend against Auburn at 24 points. The game prior at Tennessee was a great concern last Wednesday. Took only 3 shots in that game, scoreless. It's all about being willing to shoot for him. Took 15 shots against Auburn. That was even after missing his first 5 field goal attempts.
Good movement on this possession. We'll see if it ends up with a good shot.
Here's AJ. Trying to go high off the glass. Foul wouldn't go as well. Sexton over to the corner. Ingram. Long rebound into the hands of Chiozza.
These are some good looks, though.
They are. That possession was better. Chiozza splitting, giving, driving. There's Okaru. And then the whistle.
I think some of it down at this end for Alabama is Florida's defense. They've done a pretty good job of staying in front of the ball after the initial minute or 2 of this game. But Tess, some of this is just missing shots, clean looks.
We've seen plenty of that.
I mean, you get a putback dunk opportunity, that's got to be 2. You can't be missing those.
Remember, they started the game 2 for 2. They're now 3 of 27 with their field goals. And contact with Sexton as he was driving past Okaru. That is his second.
And if you're calling Sexton change of pace, able to stop, draw that contact, knowing that the defensive player behind you is chasing.
Sexton to shoot 2.
Well, by all accounts, the eventual soon-to-be NBA draft pick. Interesting young man is Colin Sexton in terms of his commitment and dedication. The coaching staff at times has had to turn the lights off in the gym, tell him, hey, go back to the dorm, try to be a normal college student for a night. But he is just obsessed with working on his game. And timeout used by Florida. A 17-point margin here in T-Town. Boy, we're all looking forward to part 2 of college basketball's greatest rivalry, and it is a sonic blockbuster. Saturday at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Number 9 North Carolina, number 5 Duke. Of course, it's also streaming on the ESPN app. UNC got the best of them back on February 8th, but every time we preview this grand matchup of the game, it's just astonishing to see how close the numbers are.
Well, it's just not the NCAA titles, the Final Four appearances, program wins. How about the head-to-head wins against each other? I mean, it's eerily similar when you break it down. Last 100 games, last 50 games. And then the margin of victory and how thin it is.
Petty can't connect. And here goes Chiozza as he leaves it to the trailing Kulichov. Feed underneath and the finish as Braxton Key gets the easy basket. Remember, we mentioned Chiozza, who's on the drive here. Good score there. The assist moments ago. Chance for history. 3 assists in this first half. He's 1 away from tying Florida's all-time mark. 2 away from becoming the all-time assist leader in Gators history. See if the Tide can finish this first half at least on some positive note.
sums up
isn't
the
that
first
fitting?
half.
They were 4 of 29 shooting, 4 of 30 shooting, excuse me, in that first half.
Tess, they didn't make a shot for almost 15 minutes worth of time.
Check in with Laura.
All right, Tess. Coach, after the first couple minutes of this game, which defensive adjustments allowed for success?
Just playing really hard, just really locked in. Communication level was good, floor balance was good. We got to set half-court defense, which is so important against these guys. We're incredible in the open floor, led by Sexton. They're terrific. They're really good. They're a tournament team. We've got to be even better in the second half to hold on.
What type of spark has Jalen Hudson provided you tonight?
He's been really good. You know, he's got to get more locked in defensively, but he can really score, as we all know.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
He can really score it. And we know after watching him in that first half, when he went for 12, had 2 3-pointers, 37-18 halftime score. Stay tuned for the Alfa Romeo halftime report with Chris Cotter and the gang after these messages.
Second chances. Well, here is the new beginning. Knocked out the shot clock. Are you serious? Ready right now is Champ Week. Champ Week presented by Prism on ESPN.
Welcome to the Alfa Romeo halftime report.
Cotter, J. Will, and the coach. Alfa Romeo halftime. Jalen Hudson, that little nifty step back three. He's got a couple of them, 12 points in the first half. Florida by 19. Mississippi State taking on Tennessee in the hump. Lamar Peters is going to miss the three, but J. Will, here's Eric Holman.
Ooh, with the strong finish. This is a big-time game. Mississippi State, a must-win against a Tennessee team that's ranked.
Admiral Schofield, big fella. Yeah, he can shoot it, coach, and he can do that.
Terrific backdoor, overplay ball reversal, back cut, clear the area, either driver to score layup. Good ball movement right here, though.
Nick Witherspoon, that name barely fits on the back of his jersey.
Big-time guards at Mississippi State, Witherspoons and Lamar Peters.
He had one there, and after a little bit of slick passing here from Tennessee, eventually Derek Walker down low at the lay, and that's a good game right now. Tennessee up by 6 at Mississippi State. Mizzou and Vanderbilt. Michael Porter Jr. warmed up, did not play, though, but at least he's warming up. That's good news for Mizzou. This is not. Saban Lee out to Jeff Roberson, who hits the three, and then Lee steps into one on his own here, Coach. Vandy's tough.
Vandy's tough, but Missouri's got to win against Kentucky and Tennessee. They need another quality win. They cannot afford a bad loss.
Stop turning the ball over in the second half. 9 turnovers.
And down by 2 right now at Memorial over on ESPN2. Here's how Joe Lunardi sees the SEC. Deeper than I think a lot of people thought at the beginning of the year. And now we've kind of had some of these teams here in the middle, just in this mosh, if you will, like Texas A&M getting better. Some teams, maybe sliding back a little bit.
Mississippi State, they got an opportunity tonight. I mean, they're right there. They bet their best win is Arkansas. If they could find a way to win this game tonight, all of a sudden, they're going to move up and jump some people.
I agree with you. And a team that I get worried about in the NCAA tournament, not considering worry them to lose, but I think they can create havoc. If Florida starts knocking down shots, I mean, they're a team, they find their offensive rhythm.
Right.
They get going, it's going to be scary.
St. Joe's has got to go in tonight on the road at Rhode Island. That's your kind of
You know who I am.
No defense right now for Rhode Island. I mean, Shavar Newkirk hits his three for St. Joe's. They're up 8, and then one of my favorite players, Tyler Funk.
It's kind of what you've been in all day.
He isn't. He's part of a 13-0 run. Here's James Demery. What's going on with Rhode Island?
Senior night for the Rams. How can you let this happen?
Senior night is emotion, but I'll tell you one thing. Rams have good enough guards to find a way to get back in this game.
They better find a way. Talking to good guards, Auburn has some good guards as well. So does Arkansas. We'll preview this matchup later tonight next.
This halftime report is presented by the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, an SUV only Alfa Romeo could create.
Super Tuesday presented by Boost Mobile as you are watching the SEC on ESPN, and we were watching a halftime act that included a guy who was balancing things on his chin, and this was the showstopper apparently of balancing a ladder on his chin. Joe Tessitore and Sean Farnham with you. The guy who was balancing a ladder on his chin only had 4 fewer field goals than Alabama has had tonight. 37-18, 19-point halftime deficit. That is the largest home halftime deficit in 10 years now.
That's
here
a while.
in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, okay, so here's what I'm not going to do. Show you bad offense, show you missed shots. We're not doing that.
We've already seen a lot of that.
Let's talk about Florida and the things that went right for the Florida Gators. In particular, Jalen Hudson, 3 of 5, ultra aggressive, 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. 12 points in the first half. It wasn't just him. Igor Kulichov, by the way, he got involved. In fact, Tess, he is 5 for 6 from the field. You know what that means? He by himself made one more field goal than the entire Alabama roster.
Look at the numbers. 14.5-minute drought for Alabama at one point. The score went from 6-zip Bama to start the game to 25-15 Florida, 16-point swing, Laura.
Avery Johnson telling his team, Tess, they've got to finish their shot. He said some of this has got to turn around no matter what, but he said it's not like we were missing threes as much. We were missing a lot of points in the paint. He also said defensively, we weren't switching correctly. We've got to communicate our coverages better on the defensive end.
And then a block to get things started on one end, not what they're looking for. You know, Sean, in the bigger picture here is this is an Alabama team that came into tonight having lost 3 straight. And a foul there as Hall made his move to the rim. And trying to stay in position to have a resume good enough to maintain their status as a team that Lenardi is saying checks the box. Lenardi says right now a 9 seed, but losing 4 straight and then this eyeball test, not where you want to be.
The optics on this one is worse than the actual results of this one so far. I would hearken you back to the quality wins.
Yes.
Rhode Island, Auburn, Oklahoma in January, at Florida, Tennessee. These are really, really good high-quality wins. Look, Oklahoma stubbed its toe down the stretch. But when they were playing, Oklahoma was still a top 15 team.
The only ranked opponents that Alabama has lost to have both come on the road. Kulichov, as he has 13 tonight. Largest lead of the night for Florida. 20-point margin. As tied up and slapped away that time was Ingram. And this will stay with Florida as it was batted away by John Petty.
Out of bounds, Florida's ball on this side.
Will get things going. Remember, he could make history tonight as the all-time assist leader instead of turnover here. And here comes Petty. Skips it over to Ingram.
Good rotations. Look at the way the Gators are rotating around the floor.
Finding the ball, finding the man. Stripped away. Another turnover that time. As it was Hayes who came up with it. Hudson. Good job that time by Jalen Hudson. He has had himself a fine night with 14 points. And just like that, Coach Johnson is going to take a break. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is going for Bama. That'll be the second go-round of the great rivalry coming your way Saturday. Joe Tessitore, Sean Farnham, Laura Rutledge with you here in Tuscaloosa. Offensively inept is Alabama tonight. Florida taking great advantage. Sexton, that wouldn't go. Another second chance point. Another rebound, and finally the putback. Braxton Key.
That's their 13th and 14th offensive rebound. And their 4th second chance point.
And their first field goal made of this second half. 1 of 4. Well, we discussed the impact that these games can make at this point of the season. We told you that coming into tonight, Alabama was considered a 9 seed by Lenardi. If they won, percentage goes up to 59% for making the NCAA tournament, but a loss drops it down to 19% according to BPI. Braxton Key adds that. He has 11.
Tess, do you believe what we just saw?
It's hard to believe, Farnham.
Back-to-back made field goals for the Crimson Tide.
That's how they actually started the game. Remember, they scored on their first 2 shots of the game and then just went ice cold.
By Kayvon Allen.
That was Kayvon Allen.
Well, you know, look, this is an important game. You lose 4 in a row right now in February, and then you go on the road against A&M.
Sexton, 19-footer, gets the shooter's touch.
And now you need to be able to sustain stops. You cannot just trade baskets.
Chiozza looking for an assist, and he is closing in on history. Is Chris Chiozza. With that, he ties Florida's all-time mark for assists in a career. Turnover. Hudson puts it down. Jalen Hudson. A big night out of Hudson. Good effort play by Colin Sexton. All of a sudden, a little bit of pace in front of us. There is Allen.
3-point basket by Kayvon Allen.
He has struggled on the road in the SEC shooting the threes. Came in shooting just 16% from 3 on the road in SEC games, Sean.
Well, Tess, put into perspective those numbers. He made 6 in the last game at home. He only made 5 coming into this game. But tonight, it's about Jalen Hudson. His aggressiveness, his ability to finish, and the Gators, they're chomping.
Chris Chiozza tying the all-time mark for career assists at Florida. He's got 4 tonight, Sean.
Outstanding job, as always, facilitating, making his teammates better. One more, and he becomes the sole possession as far as leader goes in that category. He also, with the steals, moved past Casey Hill on the career steals list. So it's been a historic night for Chris Chiozza already.
Averages over 6 assists per game. Had 12 the other day, a career high against Auburn. Laura?
Guys, that assist stat is the most important to Chris Chiozza. He prides himself in making his teammates better, as you all mentioned. And he said when it comes to stats, he doesn't really pay attention to them. But this one means a lot to him if he would be able to get that all-time assist leader mark tonight. He said that this year's been challenging from a leadership standpoint because this Florida team's been inconsistent, and they want to please the fans. They want to please everybody that they can. But he still remains confident because he knows he can rely on making these guys better.
Is that his best? He makes everybody on the floor better for the Gators. 3 ball, rattles out, chased down by Key. He's been trying to provide a little bit of a spark. Chiozza went for a steal there. And then the turnover. And for Alabama, that is 12.
I mean, that's a mistake that just shouldn't happen, Tess. You've got a numbers advantage. It's 5-on-4. See the open man and deliver the ball.
Allen. Long ball wouldn't go for him. Another turnover. That's 13 now. Avery's wired. He's looking for some defense.
Hey, we're still not awake on defense. Come on, we got to get awake on defense. Get in your covers.
You know, he made the comment coming in about the 3 losses, saying, you know, you try to move on to the next one, but I'm very disappointed with the overall effort. If this thing maintains itself and just stays sort of in this sluggish spot, I can't even imagine what he's going to feel. As Schaefer has come into the game. Lawson, Schaefer, the walk-on, as well as Alex Reese.
Yeah, if I'm Avery Johnson, why not? Right?
Absolutely.
Maybe they'll come in with a little heart, a little hustle.
Crowd's going nuts just by the fact that he brought the ball up.
Play free, kid.
Nobody else is.
Like, you got to realize your coach put you in to spark this thing. So play hard, be aggressive, get your shot. Look at the defense. The fans love it.
Comes out to man up Kayvon Allen. Allen, good feed on the baseline cut by Howard.
What happened there was Hall left the corner positioning, and he really got caught in no man's land because Allen went middle. He didn't go to the sideline.
Good rebound that time by Dante Hall. Back out to Schaefer. Crowd wants him to just pull that trigger and take a go at it. Gets it inside the Hall. And he was fouled. No basket. Circle shot in.
Avery Watson, Avery's like, come on. We haven't had a good one go through in a long time.
And of course, that's the one that goes through of all of them.
Watches Avery Johnson sees that long after the shot. Don't count that, please. Please count it. It went through the hoop.
Well, 16 years he spent in the NBA, so.
Look at, he smiles, though. He knows.
Jack and Hudson come in for the Gators. Hudson with 18 points.
Alabama's ball on the baseline.
Coach's son trying to get himself into the paint. And he gets the ball back. To Lawson Schaefer, the young man from Coleman, Alabama.
Oh, good pass. Over the top. Trying to find Galen Smith, who just checked in the game as well.
Smith, a big-bodied freshman from North Carolina.
Colin Sexton replaces John Petty for Alabama.
Lawson Schaefer's breathing a little hard out there, but he's been putting forth the effort, getting the reaction from the crowd.
On the baseline.
Feeds Smith, tapped away. Johnson tracks it down. Shot clock counting down. And a violation. Well, that face on Avery Johnson speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Believe in second chances? Well, here is the new beginning.
Knocked out the shot clock. Are you serious?
Get ready right now. It's Champ Week. Champ Week presented by Prism on ESPN.
Champ Week is upon us, and things will get going with the women's side of the SEC in Nashville. The remaining unbeatens in women's college basketball, Gino and the women in stores, you can pretty much fill in that top line every year. And then Mississippi State, they're 30-0. Of course, they had the thriller against UConn last year in the Final Four, made their way to the national championship game.
Katie Lou Samuelson is my pick for National Player of the Year.
She's sensational.
The SEC tournament, though, you don't confuse that just because Mississippi State is undefeated. Then it's like, oh, well, that's a cakewalk. SEC women's basketball is the strongest conference in the country. It's between them and the Pac-12 this year for strongest overall conference. And I would say the advantage goes to the SEC. The defending national champs have been banged up as of late. See if they can get healthy and have some success this week in Nashville. You've also got teams like Texas A&M. Danny Williams has had a tremendous career. Missouri, Sophie Cunningham, one of the all-time greats in that program.
How about those 2 attempts by Doc? I see Laura Rutledge has made her way over behind the Florida bench. Laura, what have you picked up on?
Mike White just telling his team, it took us to this point to have our best defensive possession of this game. He wants to see them finish strong. Just told him, hey, when this thing's over, we'll smile, we'll party, we'll laugh, we'll feel good about it. But I do not want to see a single one of you looking up at the scoreboard. And Sean, when you think about as inconsistent as Florida has been at
Sorry, Laura. Are you kidding me?
How about your man, Lawson Schaefer? Get after it, walk-on. Laura, sorry to interrupt, but I think the crowd did enough of it for us. Lawson Schaefer, the walk-on who checks in, just came up with that. Run that back, boys.
What would make us tell Laura Rutledge, I'm sorry, but we can't pay attention to you right now? What a pass. Look at this. Oh, the steal. Behind the back. And Colin Sexton's finish, and this is us. We fight. Look at this. We got something good to talk about, partner.
Lawson Schaefer, who's scratching 5'11" and about $165 from Coleman, Alabama. The walk-on who's gotten into the second half just to offer anything for Alabama offensively, shooting 20% on the year. I'm sorry, Laura, what were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's over now, guys. It's totally over, and I should have just shut up long before that. Lawson Schaefer, Coleman, Alabama product, Coleman High School legend. Let's go. Let's see what else he's got.
Anybody else from Coleman, Alabama that we know?
Potentially.
Okay. I heard it's a baseball community as well.
Schaefer is really giving this crowd at least something to feel good about in this second half, because it has been a dismal evening. Bama started the second half 4 of 8 shooting, but then went on this stretch of missing 4 and then 4 turnovers in the 8 subsequent trips. And then Schaefer offered at least a little something there.
I mean, that's a genuine reaction by you.
Of course it is.
Like, oh my God, we have something fun to talk about here.
Sport.
Celebrate the night.
As bad as it's been offensively on one side, Sexton offers a little stop and pop.
I want to see Schaefer just pull a 3.
Here's Hudson. Boy, he is good, isn't he?
Just
his 6th 20-plus point game of the season. He has 22 points.
Well, and he's just getting to a spot, Tess. He's not overcomplicating the game.
Bank goes.
Colin Sexton.
Think Schaefer's phone's going to be blowing up a little bit tonight?
We'll talk to SVP about trying to get that as the best thing he's seen today. Stanford Steve, if you're watching, make it happen.
Oh, he is. Trust me. I've gotten the text already. Let's look who's flipping the switch, brought to you by Boost Mobile.
Well, Jalen Hudson came into this game, and you're like, all right, so who are you going to be? You've been shooting the ball well from beyond the arc, but he came and put the whole game together tonight. And when I say, you get to your spot as a shooter and a scorer, Tess, if you think, if I get to that spot, I'm going to make 60% of my jump shots from there. You're shooting that ball with such great confidence. When you get to that spot, you give yourself an unbelievably increased opportunity to make them look. But if you get pushed off that spot and you're 3 feet or further out, I'll say, man, I'm not as confident from here. And Hudson has been confident from the go.
7 of 9 shooting for Hudson tonight. Had the 2 threes. 22-point night. had that spectacular play in the win this past Saturday against Auburn. Go-ahead score. Converted a three-point play. He's had some great moments this year. Early in the season, double overtime win against Gonzaga, had a 35-point effort. Their leading scorer, averaging 15 a game. Things continue for Jalen Hudson. A 25-point night for the junior from Richmond, Virginia.
Timeout, Alabama.
SEC tournament is coming up next week from St. Louis. We will be there. And this graphic really speaks volumes about what this league has been this year. Parity. Because still, with the games tonight, the games Wednesday, and then the end of the regular season on Saturday, these are the margins as to where teams could be seated. For example, Kentucky could be seated as high as a 3, as low as a 9. The spread for Arkansas as high as a 2, as low as a 10.
Well, and think about this, Mississippi State right now is at 58-45 on Tennessee. If that score holds up, excuse me, Tennessee is up. If that score holds up, Tennessee still has a chance at that 1 seed.
And Auburn plays later tonight.
All right, and Mississippi State's going to lose that 2 spot, which means they have no chance of getting all the way up there. They're dropping down. It is, and the race that's so important is to try to get that top 4 positioning so you don't have to play until Friday.
That is how Joe Lunardi sees the SEC right now. He's got Mississippi State as one of the first 4 out, and 8 SEC teams getting into the NCAA. But Bama sitting here, and we talked about it, not just the losing 4 straight, but the eye test. They're going to have to take advantage of things down the stretch here with the game at A&M, and then a trip to St. Louis where they have a chance to take care of some business. Resume prior to this stretch was really solid.
Lawson Schaefer with the best offensive drive of the day. Drives baseline, kicks it out to the high post, immediate dump down, and you get a dunk. That's one of the cleanest and easiest possessions we've seen.
How about that? Stamp your night, young man. Jalen Hudson.
I mean,
27 points with a thud coming with it.
Tess, that was fantastic.
Really was. He's playing on a different level than everybody else tonight. He wants more, Farnham.
I'm wondering, Chris Chiozza's on the bench with 4 assists. Will he get a chance to break the record tonight, or will they hold it off till Saturday?
Stone from the corner.
He's got
Kentucky at Florida on Saturday. Florida beat Kentucky 66-64 earlier today. Crowd would have erupted if that went. Let's go to the studio and check in with Chris.
All right, time to flip the switch. We're going to check out Joel Berry warming up at the Dean Dome. Never had much success offensively against Miami. In 4 career games against the Canes, never scored more than 11 points. It's all brought to you by Boost Mobile. Coming up, Miami, North Carolina, the top of the hour. More from Tuscaloosa after this.
Hudson with 27 points tonight for Florida.
Let me tell you, partner, this is like Wile E. Coyote and the Acme Anvil just coming down on you. I mean, fall off the cliff and let them just elevate up and drop it.
That was an anvil drop right there.
Oh.
It's a great Wile E. Coyote reference. There is the resume for Florida. Farnham, I think 10-7 in the SEC. I mean, you can lock this thing in for Florida now. It'll be holding on here. Would be 2 straight wins after that 3-game losing stretch. Great win over Auburn. Come here to Alabama and win if they can hang on here. And 8 quad 1 wins. Strangely, the same number that #1 Virginia has, and more than SEC leading Auburn. Chiozza comes away with it. Allen couldn't get it to drop. Schaefer tapped it right back into the hands of Kayvon Allen. Chiozza's looking for an assist to make history. He couldn't get it to drop there, though, for him. He was off balance. Giddens was in the right spot, and he will head to the line with the score. Well, tonight on ESPN should be a good one at the Dean Dome. Number 9 North Carolina. They're on that 6-game win streak and taking on Miami when we wrap up here. It's Super Tuesday presented by Boost Mobile. Heels Canes coming up, also available on the ESPN app. The SEC, according to Lenardi, would get 8 in as it stands right now.
That'd be a record.
The SEC would 9.
That'd be a record for the SEC and the Big 12, by the way, to get 8 teams in. It's been a great year for a lot of the Power 5 conferences. You see all the ones, Pac-12, it's been a little bit below what is expected of the Conference of Champions, as Bill Walton would say, 1 or 2 times during a game. But I would say this, Joe Tess, one conference that's not listed there that's going to have multiple teams, the WCC. And Gonzaga might be playing as well as anybody right now. They have figured it out defensively. So as we get closer, their tournament begins this weekend in Las Vegas. Make sure you keep an eye on the Zags and what they're doing defensively.
I said to you a couple weeks ago, we were chatting, I said what they did to St. Mary's a couple weeks ago to me was that moment of the statement. Yep. Of here's what we are now. So we will watch for the Zags.
And it's easy to forget how much talent Mark Few has, and Rui Hachimura has had a sensational season.
Now Giddens went up strong, and he will earn a trip to the line. Well, what's the deal with Alabama here? As they head to A&M on Saturday in the hopes.
Well, I have that game. I have that game, and I'm going to hope for a better offensive outing.
Oh, you better.
I mean, even if you're playing well defensively, Tess, all right, if you can't score the basketball and make a shot on your home court for almost 15 minutes in the first half, you're not going to win.
Here are the notable remaining games, and you will see the game that Sean will be broadcasting there. Bama at A&M. We need to end this skid here. Tonight on the SEC Network, you'll be able to see Auburn and Arkansas. Of course, we've got the second half of Super Tuesday coming here with UNC and Miami. Davis and that crew.
I'm excited to see that Auburn-Arkansas game, though.
Should be good. Arkansas, that dynamic backcourt, and Auburn that has just done it all year long, leading the way, 24 wins, 12-4 in conference. They play with such desire and tenacity.
And a win tonight locks it in.
Team that's undersized, lost one of their big men for the rest of the season, but that team just plays so hard when they're shooting well from outside.
Well, Jared
so
Harper,
dangerous.
Jared Harper, Bryce Brown, Mustafa Heron. I mean, these guys all season long have been so consistent for Bruce Pearl. There's been multiple times they've been down 10+ points in the second half, and they end up winning the game by 10. They don't panic.
Igor with the drive.
I mean, where's anybody rotating? Anybody want to stop the ball?
Nobody stopped the ball. Kulichov went right to the 10. Here's Reese as he banks it in. Alex Reese, who's a good-looking 6'9" freshman. He's from Pelham, Alabama, same hometown as Clemson's football coach Dabo Swinney, and a proud Alabama alumnus who won a national title with Coach Starnes. Long ball by John Penny goes down. Came in tonight very solid when they've played at home. In home SEC games, he's shooting 53% on threes.
Foul number 24, Lawson Jr. with his second personal foul. Alabama's 5th team foul.
Tess, I've been really impressed, though, with Florida.
Reason to be.
They came in here, and the way this game started, you could have easily sat there and went, uh-oh, here we go again.
They were down
6-0.
6-zip, and then they had the 16-point swing.
And they did, and it wasn't like it's a quick swing. I mean, it was slow, and even at the beginning, they were missing a ton of shots. They started 1 for 6 from the field.
Now teams don't stay the same, and this Florida team looks a little different after that win against Auburn on Saturday. Johnson Jr. is denied by Hayes, and the foul that time will be charged on Lawson Schaefer. Posting within a 20-point gap on the scoreboard are the Gators.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Boost Mobile.
Well, the SEC has just felt different lately. Of course, Big Blue domination is always a constant theme. Kentucky with 3 SEC regular season and tournament championships over 3 years. But the leadership changes. Point of emphasis was bring in the best coaches. And with the best coaches comes the best talent. 9 of the 2017 top 25 recruits. A year ago, 5 SEC teams earned bids. And as of now, Joe Lunardi says 8 SEC teams will make it to the NCAA tournament. And I think next week in St. Louis is going to be outrageous with the SEC tournament. Because anybody, I mean, we've seen it every week.
We don't even know who's playing anybody yet.
Can win these games. And that is not the norm. Typically, when you close in, you're getting close to the tournament. We can say, all right, listen, that's the obvious one. The 2, we start doing our preparation. This thing, you throw all the names up in the air and you see how they're going to fall.
It is going to be insane. I like mass chaos for a conference tournament.
I do too. It's a fan-friendly tournament.
See if Chiozza can get this assist here.
If he does, it'll be history. He's sitting on 4. He's tied for the all-time lead in Florida history. Allen, baseline drive, runner goes.
Good goal by Caitlin Allen.
Tennessee's lead, by the way, now 19 against Mississippi State.
Still that time by Hayes. He's been active in the paint defensively. Reese for 3. I wouldn't stay down. Second chance. And a good effort playing by Daniel Giddens. Reminder that Sports Center at night comes your way after Miami, North Carolina. Bucci and Steve Levy going to talk about Ty Lue's changes and how that affects the Cavs tonight against the Nets. Plus, they'll take a trip down Tobacco Road. Greatest moments from college basketball's best rivalries. Sports Center, 11 Eastern on ESPN. Always available on the ESPN app. It's coming up after Miami, North Carolina. For Avery Johnson, how do you message things after this one?
You got to forget it, and you got to move forward. You can't spend a lot of time. I mean, you can watch it as a staff and try to figure it out what you want to do and see the areas that you need to improve. But when you have a bad game, sometimes it's better as a team in a short turnaround to just turn around and walk away and go the opposite direction.
And Giddens was having no part of Ballard coming in there.
I like it, though. It's aggressive.
Yeah, well, listen, you like anything at this point with Alabama if you're on that side. That's aggressive. That's effort. That's spark. Anything. Show some life. And that's why number 24 Lawson Schaefer has gotten this extended playing time.
I'm going to be really interested to see how this team's shoot-around is on Saturday before that A&M game.
I agree.
Like, are they feeling bad about themselves? Have they already started going, oh, well, you know, we had a good year, but, you know, we came up short in the game that we really needed to have? Or are they going to say, hey, we've got work that's still left to be done, and we can find a way? Chiozza's day is done, which means the record will come at home, probably.
Nothing wrong with that. Become the all-time assist leader in school history. Home against Kentucky. There's contact that time as Giddens went up.
Sometimes you sit on the bench for a long time, Tess, and it's a great way to learn.
Sure is.
You know, I mean, I've seen this done before where you take out all your starters and you force them to sit there and watch. And the frustration on their faces. They're not out on the floor. Their teammates are. Those are some of the top freshmen in the country. It's one of the most experienced players in your program. And they're just sitting there on the bench watching.
Sexton and Petty, the freshman. Braxton Key, more experienced guy. Well, there is Sexton. That's a good sign, just to get up, encourage your teammates there.
Well, he's been that way the entire second half while he's been on the bench. If you're both coaches, you just want to get out of here healthy. Nothing crazy here in the final 139.
And now Florida's going to empty their bench as well, send in the walk-ons. As Andrew Fava checks in and Mark Krause checks in. On a night when Hudson went for 27 on 9 of 13 shooting. We'll scoop in for Avery Johnson Jr. If you're out there, my man, take a go of it. That was Fava.
1 minute remaining.
Remember UNC and Miami coming up in just a moment here. And this Alabama team is going to have to take care of business at A&M. As Florida will head home to face Kentucky, and then we will all head out to St. Louis next week to have this conference meetup in what could be the most interesting championship tournament the conference has seen from start to finish, at least, with all the parity that we've had in the SEC this year. Alabama got off to a good start. They were up 6-0. It went south. It got real cold and real ugly, including 14 and a half minutes of a shooting drought that saw them go 0 for 19 in that stretch. A miserable offensive performance for the Tide. And they have lost 4 straight, and now back-to-back wins for the Florida Gators. The SEC standings look this way. Remember, Auburn and Arkansas will play tonight. And there is Florida now with 10 wins.
And the Gators getting 10 wins in the SEC that is so improved from even a season ago. Mike White has done a tremendous job with the Florida Gators. And signs of life after they hit their rough patch. The challenge for Alabama is, will they respond or will they continue to slide and end up losing at A&M on Saturday? They got to find a way to get that win.
Yep, time to step up. Time to get it done for Alabama. And they have been talking about that. Avery Johnson's been very open about what this team needs to be. This is a Florida team that was seemingly hard to figure in recent weeks. It looks like they've straightened things out. And Laura standing by with the star of the night, Jalen Hudson.
All right, thanks, Tess. And Jalen, your three-point play for the win against Auburn on Saturday. Tonight, 27 points. What have the last few days been like for you?
The last 2 games, you asked?
Yeah, the last few days.
Just trying to be aggressive. Really trying to finish the season out strong. I really just want to dance, you know what I mean, with my teammates, you know what I mean, want to make it to the tournament. Just want to finish strong, you know what I mean. I love these guys. A couple seniors on our team, want to finish strong for them, you know what I mean. So just been fighting with them.
So you meant dancing like the big dance, not just dancing in general?
Big dance, yeah, big dance, yeah.
You had a dunk with about 7 minutes left to go in this game. I need you to walk me through every moment of that because it looked like it was pretty fun.
I was able to shoot the gap a little bit, and then it was kind of like all that hustle play. Me and Braxton Key, I just tried to outrun him, get it. I was able to tap it to myself, and then I took off once I got past him. So it was pretty much it.
What do you think this team did for its resume tonight?
It's a big win for us. Alabama's really good. We got some really good players. They've been playing well all season. I mean, we're just trying to compete. They competed. We hit some shots tonight, really big ones. Everybody came, everybody showed up, so it was really big for our team. It was a good win and great resume game, too.
Thanks, Jalen.
Yeah, thank you.
Tess, you know how to dance.
Well, this is the guy that's going to be dancing into the night celebrating, and he was dancing out there and putting down the shots. 9 of 13 shooting. 27 points to lead the way for the Gators. Kulichov had 15, Allen 13, and Chiozza is sitting on the doorstep of history. Maybe he'll be feeding that guy, Jalen Hudson, come Saturday to get it done and try to become the school's all-time leader in career assists. It was all Gators all night as Bama was oh so cold. Hey, we got more Super Tuesday set to come your way with UNC in Miami. But for now, let's send you back to the studio to Chris Cotter, Seth Greenberg, and Jay Williams. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you, Tess. Farney. Don't forget, we've got North Carolina coming up as well with Miami. Theo Pinson. Everybody keeps talking about how well he has played this year, and for good reason. His final game at the Dean Dome senior night in Chapel Hill. Chris Cotter, Seth Greenberg, Jay Will here in studio. SEC got some teams that need wins. Missouri picked up a win earlier in the day at Vandy. Alabama really could have used the win against Florida. Didn't get it tonight.
I'll tell you what, not only did they lose, that was an embarrassing loss. Couldn't make a shot, then stopped competing on the defensive end. This is a team, you know, Joe has them as a 9 seed right now. That's a loss that will resonate. And also, it's a game that you got to get your team back right now. You're going to the tournament. You've got to get some type of momentum moving forward.
Looked like a young team, didn't it? Looked
like
they
are a young team.
I know they are a young team, but at times, you know, we look at these kids and we see their physical maturity and we think that they act mentally older, but it just seems. Were you confused with that?
No, I'm just following you intently on what you're talking about here with Alabama.
It just seems at times that they were a little bit splintered instead of. Those are the games that you have to find a way. It doesn't matter how you score. Just keep fighting and claw.
Do they have enough shot makers? I mean, my concern with this team, John Petty can make shots, but he's loose with the ball. Colin Sexton can attack, but he's not really a shot maker. He's more of a scorer. Dejon Ingram, not a real shot maker. Yeah. I'm not sure this Alabama team has enough shot makers.
Don't you think they need to continue to fight and claw, though?